Caroline here from Chaos Theory Paranormal, here with another Among Us. And this one is effed up, guys. It's really effed up. This happens in Canada. So once again, it's in our neck of the woods. This is going to be called Barbie Killers. This is the story of Paul Bernardo and Karla Homolka. Let's do it. So, who are Paul Bernardo and Karla Homolka? If you live anywhere other than Canada, you may not have heard about these two psychotic killers. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain to you guys a little bit about each person and then talk to you guys about their crimes together, okay? So, Paul Bernardo was born in 1964 in Scarborough, Ontario. In a normal family, he, had a father that was, a bit of an alcoholic, but, not too bad. Paul seemed like to have a normal childhood, went to the Boy Scouts, but then things got a little weirder. He started doing stuff to imitate his dad. His dad was a bit of a peeping Tom, apparently. And so Paul started becoming a little bit of a peeping Tom, and then he became more sexually inappropriate with time. People seem to say that he was well adjusted, but that it was all a front. There was really more going on. At the age of 16, Paul found out that his dad was actually not his birth dad, that he was the result of an extramarital affair. And that really messed him up. That really, for some reason, it hit a switch and he became an even more sadist person. He became a sexual sadist, basically. But good looking guy, blonde hair, blue eyes. Ken, when you think of Barbie and Ken, okay? So, good looking guy, apparently had lots of girlfriends, but was not the kindest. Then you have Karla Homolka. And Karla was born into a very loving family. I mean, her parents were married, had a good marriage. Both of them were working, middle class family. She had two other sisters, blonde hair, blue eye, good looking family. She was born in 1970 in St. Catharines. Everything was on the up and up. She obviously had her period during her teenage years where she went a little dark. She explored some stuff and was a little weird, but who doesn't explore when you're a teenager? It's kind of normal, right? Like everybody does it. So, Karla explored, different styles and things like that, which is normal. We, as teenagers. So both of them actually met in 1987. That's when they started dating. She was 17. They met at a hotel. He was there for a conference. She was there for a vet clinic thing. And so they met, and apparently it was instant connection, like bam. And they eventually got married on June 29th, 1991. On Niagara-on-the-Lake. You guys have heard of Niagara Falls. Niagara-on-the-Lake is the fancy place next to it. Okay? Lavish wedding. Like, lavish wedding. Okay? Princess, horse-drawn carriage, like the whole yard. But Paul was hiding a very, very dark secret. In 1987, in Scarborough, there was a huge scare in the town because there had been rapes. Many rapes. And they couldn't find who this person was. He sexually assaulted 18 women, and 17 out of them never saw his face because he came at them from the back. He would sexually assault them. He would leave them there. Guys, it's gonna get gross, and I'm really, really sorry, but when we say that he was a sexual sadist, when he was done raping these women, he would insert rocks and sticks into it. Psychotic. Okay? Like, you already sexually assaulted these women. You took all of their dignity away, and then you do this. It's like a step above. Like, what was the point of that? Um so the women never got to look at him, right? And we're in 1987. This happened from 1987 to 1990. And DNA at that point was in its early stages, infancy. Like, we still had a lot of ways to go with DNA. So it was hard to pinpoint who this person was. But they pretty much concluded that it was one person, and then the whole affair became known as the Scarborough rapist. In 1990, his last victim, for X reason, and by the way, he's dating Karla during this whole time, right? We said that they started dating in 1987. The Scarborough rapes started in 1987. And his last victim in 1990, he came up to her. So she got a good look at him, and she was able to give a good composite drawing of what he looked like. So that went out on the news, and then they got flooded. They had about 700 people of interest, and one of them was Paul Bernardo. So the Scarborough police asked him to come in. And guys, Paul Bernardo, one thing you had to give him was he was a charmer. He charmed the pants out of those police officers. He made sure that, oh, if there's anything I can do, let me know, no problem. I didn't do this, I can promise you. Like, he had a girlfriend, he had a good job, he came from a good family. Like, there was no clue that would say, here's your rapist. Which is why I do this Among Us, because here's a Ken Barbie lookalike, blonde hair, blue eyes, good looking guy. Nobody suspects him of nothing, yet he is the biggest sexual sadist. Like, you can't judge a book by its cover, right? We said that many, many times. Well, he put up a good front because he was like, oh God, no, I would never do this. This is not me. Like, I'm fine. Like, I got my girlfriend, I got my job, So they let him go. They asked him though if he was willing to give hair and blood sample, and he was like, yes, absolutely, no problem. Well, here's where the issue with the DNA comes in. Because, like I said, DNA just started. His DNA stayed on a shelf for 2 years. So this happened in 1990. 2 years later, in 1992. Took that long to get his sample, okay? Like, analyzed and everything, not. So let's talk about the couple itself, okay? Because this is stuff that he did by himself. Karla didn't have anything to do with it. This is where it gets a little crazy and how I wouldn't understand, but I'm also not in her shoes. She, like I said, she was very young when she started dating Paul. She was 17. She was not a virgin. Paul was obsessed with virginity. Obsessed with it. And he was super upset that his girlfriend was not a virgin. But Karla had a younger sister named Tammy. Tammy looked a lot like Karla, blonde hair, blue eyed, but she was a virgin. And so he asked Karla, please let me take your sister's virginity. That's all I want. Like, I just want your sister's virginity. I want to make sure that I can, we can do this together. You can be with me when I do this. Like, I'm sorry, but my husband comes to me with this kind of request, I call 911. Like, I don't think so. But she went along with it, guys. Like, it's beyond me. I just don't understand. I don't understand that you can tell your partner, oh, I want to sleep with your sister. And for you to go, yeah, okay. So, like I said, at that point, she was still working at the vet clinic, and she was able to get her hands on some kind of anesthetic. And so they put their plan into action. And at this point, they were engaged. They were 6 months away from their wedding. And she was like, okay, for my wedding present to you, and, to show you how much I love you, let's do this. Let's have a threesome with Tammy. We'll drug her so that, you can have your way with her. First of all, that's your baby sister. Listen, I get it. When I was a teenager and my sister, we did not get along. But now, Anybody. Like at this point, she's what? She's 30. No, she's 20. She's 20. She's 20 years old. You don't have the mindset to tell yourself, this may not be the best idea I've ever had in my life. No, let's go ahead and do it because, I love this man. And even though he could be a little rough in the bedroom, I know that he loves me. So let me offer my virgin sister to him. Is it just me? Am I just like a prude? Am I just like not understanding? It's beyond me. Like I just don't understand how you could do that to your sister. I really don't. So the family had gathered for Christmas and New Year's at the Homolka house in St. Catharines. And on the night of December 29th, 1990, they gave 15-year-old Tammy the anesthetic in a drink. And he proceeded to basically rape her. Because if somebody is unconscious, to me, that's a rape. And apparently, Karla participated. But then something went horribly wrong. And Tammy started vomiting. And she vomited so much that she choked on her vomit and unfortunately succumbed and she passed away. And so here they're in their basement. They've just done this horrible thing to this young girl. She has died as a result of the anesthetics and all the alcohol that you gave her. So they call 911, they come over and they call it an accidental death. Listen, at that point, I don't think that he meant to kill her, but I think that what led up to it was definitely aggravated manslaughter, if anything. Okay, like there has to be consequences to what you've done. And so this is 6 months before their wedding. Obviously, Karla's parents are devastated. Their baby, their 15-year-old has passed away in their home. They're grief stricken. They're trying to get through it. Karla, Paul, they know what happened. They know what they did to that poor girl. But Karla, being the princess, and I'm sorry I don't use this term lightly, princess that she is, was like, well, my parents just need to get over it because, like, we are getting married in 6 months. So, like, I need all the attention on me because I am the princess. Get over yourself, princess. Okay, your sister died. I'm sorry that your parents are not, just thinking about you in this moment. You stupid bitch. And all she wanted was like, oh, you need to pay for this. You need to pay for, like, hello, can you have some sympathy? I know you basically killed your sister by giving her everything that you've given her, but like, have some ounce of compassion. She doesn't. She really doesn't. So, like I said, they had their big lavish wedding. She had the princess dress and she got everything that she wanted. I'm sorry, like I really have an issue with this woman. She's a little much. And then Paul decided to go further. And he basically wanted to kidnap somebody and make her a sex slave. Like that was his fantasy at that point. So this is after their wedding. And so he brings that up to Karla and he's like, listen, we need to kidnap somebody, have her in our basement. I get to use her whenever I want. Feel like this is a great plan. Bitch goes along with it. She's like, yeah, okay. So their first, well, not their first, I'm sorry, their second victim, because let's face it, Tammy Homolka was their first victim. Their second victim was a young girl named Leslie Mahaffey. She was only 14. She was living in Burlington and went missing on June 15th. And her dismembered body was found around Lake Gibson on their wedding day. So this is like, Leslie was just a short time before their wedding. Okay? So Leslie went missing June 15th, 1990. They got married June 29th, 1990. They found her body on their wedding. Her body had been dismembered and encased in 8 concrete blocks. Insane. So like I said, he really, like, this was his, let's do this. He found Leslie, put her in his basement, and then Karla came home. And do you know what she got upset about? Not about the fact that Leslie was in the basement. Nope. That's okay. She got upset that Paul used their wedding flutes before their wedding. There's a 14-year-old strapped up in your basement and you're worried about your fucking wedding flutes? Okay. Sure. Yeah. That's the issue right now. So, this poor girl went through 36 hours of pure torture. She was sexually assaulted numerous times. She was told to praise Paul. He humiliated her, degraded her. And then when he was done and satisfied with what he had done, he strangled her, dismembered her, and encased her in cotton. And Karla, did she do anything to stop this? No, because they were going to have their wedding. And the wedding was the most important thing. It's crazy. It's crazy to me. And on your wedding day, the happiest day of your life, you see the news and you hear that her body has been found. Like, anyway. So some time went by. In April, so basically 2 years later, in April of 1992, on April 16th to be exact, they found another victim. Kristen French was walking outside, broad daylight, and basically was kidnapped by Karla and Paul, brought back to their home, and she was tortured and raped repeatedly for 3 days. But this time they went a little bit further. They videotaped the whole ordeal. Why? Don't know. They just went a step further this time. And basically, Paul asked Kristen French, who is the victim here. He asked her if she wanted anything, and she was so smart because she was like, "Yes, I want this from this store." And it's like at the other end of town. So she knew that she had like a half an hour where she can send him off. And then she begged Karla. She was like, "Please just let me go. I promise I won't say anything. Please just let me go." And Karla was like, "No, you're not going anywhere." So Karla could have had that moment of, you know what, I'm going to let you go and let's go to the police and let's tell them what. But no, she was part of this. She enjoyed torturing these girls and humiliating these girls because that gave her husband some juice and she liked that. So she basically begged for her life. She tried to escape and wasn't able to. Paul strangled her and then he dumped her body by the side of the road. So that she was the third victim. Now, by this point in 1992, their relationship, Paul and Karla starts really degrading really badly. It's not going well. He gets more and more violent with her. His sexual sadism just goes another notch. And she's like, this is too much. This is too much for me to handle. She goes to the police after he beats her up and she presses charges against him. Remember how I told you that he gave his DNA in 1990? We are now in 1992. We're pressing charges against him. We know that we have his DNA on file. Everything has been analyzed. And this is when they realized, wait a minute, we found the Scarborough rapist because his DNA matches the last girl's DNA that was found in her. It matches Paul Bernardo to a T. So we know that this is the Scarborough rapist. And it's perfect because now they have his wife and she wants to press charges against him. So they are pushing her. They're like, tell us what you know. Tell us, what we can do to help you. Like, we know that you want to get away from him. So they needed her testimony. They needed her to talk bad about Paul. So they made a deal with her. They were like, listen, we're going to press charges against him, but we need your testimony. But unfortunately, it might, you might be part of this. And then she was like, but I didn't do anything. He forced me, because then she came clean about certain things. And he was like, no, but he forced me. I didn't do anything. It wasn't me. I had no choice. And then the cherry on top of the sundae, they found the video tapes. And do you know where they found them? In their bathroom ceiling. They searched that house high and low. She never told them that there were videos. Of course, she wouldn't incriminate herself that way. You got to take my word for it. I'm the victim here. Like, I'm telling you. Yes, I knew that those girls were there, but there was nothing I could do. Then the videos, they found the videos. And then everything became clear. She was just as bad as he was. She enjoyed torturing and menacing those girls. She was an active participant. She was not like, no, I don't want to do this. Don't make me do this. She was just as ruthless as Paul. But at this point, they knew that they needed her. So they offered her a deal. Prosecution gave her a deal for 12 years of prison. Firm 12 years of prison. And then she would be in exchange for her testimony against her husband. So Paul got charged with the rapes, and he got charged with the murder of Leslie Mahaffey and Kristen French. I wish that he had gotten something for Tammy, but we know that Tammy was also a victim. And the sad part is that they actually found a video. They did a video with Tammy while she was impaired. And then later on, Karla made a video, disgusting. She made a video with Paul where she dressed like Tammy and pretended to be her. You're telling me that she wasn't willing to participate? Bullshit. Bullshit. You can't tell me that she wasn't just as crazy as he was. So in 1993, Karla got her 12-year sentence, so she got out of prison in 2005. Paul received a lifetime imprisonment with the possibility of parole after 25 years. Paul has had 3 parole hearings. All 3 have been denied. But here's the kicker. In 1995, after he was imprisoned, he was designated as a dangerous offender. So this is a Canadian clause that can be added to your sentence, which makes it much harder for you to get liberated. So he has tried 3 times and he has been denied 3 times. Now, Karla, like I said, got out in 2005. If you guys remember the story of Luca Rocco Magnotta, I talked about how he boasted that he and she were in a relationship. Not true. We all know that Luca made that up. But Karla actually started dating her lawyer's brother. His name is Thierry Bordelais. And guys, she's had 3 kids with this. They got married in 2007. So she has kids that are the age of these women that were murdered by her and her husband, her ex-husband. Mind baffling to me. Mind baffling. Like, sometimes I feel like certain parents should have a permit to have children. How this woman is able to have kids is beyond me. She also, guys, like, this makes my skin crawl to no effect. She lives in our area. It makes me sick. She lived with her husband and her kids in Chateauguay, which is about half an hour from our house. And apparently since January 2020, she's been living in Valleyfield, which is literally the town next to ours. But apparently she's not living there with her kids and her husband, so I'm not sure how valid that is, but like, she lives in my area. She has changed her name. Her name is no longer Karla Homolka. It is Leanne Bordelais, I think she goes by. And it's beyond me that she lives next to us. Like, I hope I never see this woman. And Paul has been transferred in a different prison. So when he was first arrested, he was brought to the Kingston Penitentiary. Then he was transferred to Millhaven Institution from 2013 to 2023. And then since 2023, he has been living in Montreal in La Macasa prison with Luca Rocco Magnotta as another inmate living in that prison. So, Paul's hasn't had it easy. People that torture and kill kids, basically, because let's face it, his teenage victims were kids. That doesn't go real well in prison. So he was actually attacked numerous times in prison. I hope he keeps getting attacked. Sorry, that's just the way I see it. You were big enough to do those murders. You should take it like a man. Karla Homolka, or Leanne Bordelais, whoever her name is. I hope I never see her too, because I will spit on her shoes. Just disgusting people. Just disgusting. And the fact that she got away with 12 years is just beyond me, but I'm not a lawyer and I don't take care of that stuff. But anyway, so that's it for the Barbie killer, guys. Hopefully you guys like this one. Please subscribe, like, share. Don't forget to write a comment if you guys want me to talk about any kind of cults, any kind of serial killers, fascinating, weird historical houses, haunted places, ghosts. That's what we're here for. So thank you. We really appreciate it. We're at 750 subscribers. We love it. Keep it going. And I will see you soon.